So you had a 10-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old boy, and a newborn. What was that like? That's a dumb question. It was crazy, right?
It was so hard. It was so hard. I mean, we took a beating as parents, John and I. As parents and as a couple, we took a beating. You take a beating. You really do.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it's hard. Life is hard. You have no time, no space. I mean, I had to shit with the door open, or the kids would just sit and just start banging and screaming to let them in. I mean, it was hard.
You remember those days, huh? Because this was 25 years ago-ish, 24, 23.
Years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What, looking back now that you've been through it all and you have 3 adults, what do you think you got right with raising your kids?
Here's how I see it. Did I fuck it up? Of course I did. We're going to always do that. There's no handbook. Everybody's heard this. But we're all growing up together, and we have to look at it a little bit that way. When I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, I was not I am not the same person I was then. We grow, we evolve, and so these children, we're doing the same thing. We're all growing up together, regardless of how you look at it. Yes, I'm still mom, but I'm still growing up with you, because that's just how it is. So,
yeah, I've heard the phrase, you grow with your first child and you parent your younger ones. Do you think there's any truth to that, or?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's like with your first one, like Ariel didn't hit the floor. Like that girl, she was just like frilly, and she was my life doll. I swear to God. I mean, when it came to Adrian just like, he's eating dirt, because he's just like, I'm fucking over this. Like, I can't handle it. So yeah, you parent more in this manner.
I guess what I mean by that, I think what that statement means is like your firstborn, it's always the first time.
Yeah.
The first dance recital.
Yeah.
The first middle school experience. Yeah. The first heartbreak. The first, all these firsts.
Yeah.
And with the other kids, it's I've kind of done the toddler tantrums.
You're bracing.
Yeah.
You're
and
bracing.
you almost like accept it more because you know that it's temporary. Whatever it is, if it's a crying baby.
Right.
Or again, a tantrum or whatever, you're like, all right, well, I have a grasp on this. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I only have one.
No, but I mean, you have to this is an analogy that has been, that I've used in just relationships between men and women. But if you honestly think about it, you can put this into this context. Forming, storming, norming. That's the relationship between any other human being. You form this relationship. You storm through it because you're all fucking trying to like, what the hell is happening? And then you norm. Oh, I get you now. All right, fine. Look, all right, I didn't realize that by doing that was going to hurt your feelings. Let's norm.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess going back to what I just said, maybe I take that back because every child's different.
Every child is different. I mean, I have 3 completely different humans in a household with a completely different human as a husband. And I, of course, going through like all my multiple personalities with being a woman, a mom, right? So there was a lot of storming.
Yeah. Was there a lot of storming when you were a kid?
Storming when my childhood was storm. It was storm after storm after storm.
Where was that?
Puerto Rico. Yeah. Yeah, life was different then. It was different.
Yeah.
It was wonderful though. Like Sunday for me, church was the beach. Every single Sunday, we would go to the beach with our cooler, our music, and just literally our ham sandwiches and our beer, and just be on the beach all day. That was church.
Yeah. So you grew up in Puerto Rico.
I left the island when I was almost 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's a good chunk of childhood right there.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I mean, that leaves a scar.
But you weren't
Or a
drinking
mark.
beer when you were 9, so this is when you went
Oh
back.
no, I totally drank beer when I was 9. Are you kidding? Oh my God. In Puerto Rico, like, things are different. Just like you go to Italy and the kids at the table have a glass of wine. It's the same thing. We grew up, you have coffee in the morning. I mean, coffee in your fucking bottle. Like, that's the way it is. Café con leche.
No way.
Sir, café con leche every morning.
What age do you drink coffee?
1.
Oh my God, that sounds...
6 months. Like, that's just, it's staple.
Okay.
It's absolutely, that is culture. I mean, my kids, even to this day, Adrian drinks 1 cup of coffee in the morning. That's it.
Did you feed him coffee when he was young?
Well, if I was drinking coffee and he wanted a sip of my coffee, I would give him a sip of my coffee. And then if he would say, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" Sure, you can have a cup of coffee. It's not a stigma. It's just, what if I'm drinking a cup of coffee, and for him, he was also autistic. So it kind of had the adverse effect on him. It calmed him down.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Because first thing that I'm thinking, and maybe other people are thinking, like, kids are already so wild and full of energy and life that, like, giving them coffee would just, like, make everything more intense.
But if you think about it, it's 1 cup of coffee to give them a jolt in the morning, to give them it's not like you feed them coffee all day long. This is just like your multivitamin in the morning. It's not something that it's in your body the entire day, but it gets you up, gets you to school. Got to get on the bus. Da-da-da-da, no big deal. Once you get to school, well, in Puerto Rico, you had breakfasts and you had lunch. Like, it wasn't, a Cinnabon in a pecan roll.
Right. So what else did you bring from your childhood in Puerto Rico? You got the coffee.
Oh my God, the coffee.
At a young age, what else?
I mean, every single year, the food. The food is the culture. That's the real big thing. That's because when you have the people are together and you're having a gathering or a party in any shape or form, it's the food. I mean, it's the food. So every single year, or at least I try, every single year, we do a pastelera, which is like we make it's a Puerto Rican version of like a Mexican tamal, but it's done in banana leaves. And it is like the most delicious thing, but it takes all fucking day. It takes a whole village, because it's like everybody, you have to get the potatoes and the pumpkin and the plantains or the green bananas, and you have to shred them, like make a masa out of all of that. But you have to also peel it first. I mean, it's a lot. It's a process, and you got to make the meat. And once you make the meat, then you have to do the assembly line of putting it together. I mean, it is the most fun, because you eat and you drink as you're doing this, and you're just having a great time listening to music, and everybody is making pasteles. You wrap them in paper, you tie them with string. It's a process. It's an assembly line of just awesomeness. That's what Puerto Rico is.
Is this something you do like once a year?
Every year.
Every year. What was it? Is it a special?
Pasteles. Pasteles.
When is that? When
Christmas.
Do you do? Christmas.
During Christmas is when you have your pasteleras. That's where you have your lechon, which is like your pernil, or your big, huge, hog spit. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think your kids are going to pass that down?
Yeah, because the arroz con gandules has to happen all the time, and
you're saying these Spanish words, which is great.
I know,
we're gonna have to pause a little bit. What did you just say?
So arroz con gandules is one of it's the Puerto Rican rice dish. I mean, it's a whole meal in one. So it's your rice, it's your pigeon peas, green pigeon peas, it's your ham, like really nice ham, all these vegetables, and it's just like you just cook this thing and it's all together and it's just yummy goodness. It's delicious, and everybody loves it.
Yeah,
it's a staple.
All right, so I know we're going all over the place right now.
I'm okay with. I mean, let's go. I mean, let's go organic here.
Okay, absolutely. But let's. I'd like to narrow down back to. So you grew up in Puerto Rico,
yep.
and then you came here when you were 9.
Yep. California. Went to California.
Sorry, you came to the United States. Went to California.
Mm-hmm.
Why did your parents move?
So when we lived in Puerto Rico, after my mother divorced my father, she met a Mormon missionary and fell in love, and that was against the rules. So they sent him to finish his mission in St. Thomas. And when he was done, he went back to California and sent for my mother, my brother, and I. And we went to California, where she and he married at the Mormon temple in Los Angeles.
Whoa. So
that is how I came to be in the mainland United States. through Mormons.
Through your
Mormons.
stepdad, through the Mormons. That's wow. And did he know any English? I mean,
oh yeah, no, he grew up in California.
No, did you know?
Oh,
any
did
English?
I? Oh no. We moved. I did
but
not.
he knew Spanish, I would assume. But that's how he met
did.
your mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what was it like growing up as an immigrant? And what year was this?
Oh my God.
What year was this?
This was in 1987.
Okay.
1987. No, I take that back. Oh my God. What am I saying? 1987 is when I moved to Maryland. That was in 1981, because that's when my mom and my dad got married, in 1981.
I'm curious what you brought from Puerto Rico to the United States and kind of held on to. Is there anything? So you said like the food.
The food.
Is there anything? I'm kind of interested in the culture of parenting. You know, I talk a lot about parenting.
Do. Well, I mean, Latina moms with their boys. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a big deal in the Puerto Rican community. Like my father, in my grandmother's eyes, he was Jorgito. You know, he was just like the Jorgito. Like the males in the Latino community, they're like, you know, the boys can do no wrong. You know, so the girls are always, you know, it's not unlike any other machismo culture. Like there's always machismo in any culture. Check it out, in any culture. There's always, but we're the patriarch. So, but anyway.
But I'm curious about that. So where's it you and your brother?
It was me and my brother. So, you know, my brother was Jorgito. So he was like, you know, he was the favored, in my eyes. In my eyes. Plus, you know, I wasn't, I think my mother wanted me to be a boy. So,
oh yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, I feel like in the God, see, this is just really personal, but I just feel like I was a possible last salvation of a marriage type of thing. So, and it didn't work out. so I feel like I'm a constant reminder that, you know, I didn't hold it together.
Oh my gosh, really?
Well, that's how I feel. Whether it's real or not, you know, it's just like, you know, I don't know. It's my family life was just really fucking strange. I mean, I have a sister that's 6 months younger than me. You're like, yeah.
You start doing the math.
Yeah. So, and she, you know, we only share a father. And she was born in Illinois. So, you know, like there's a lot. But what I took from PR, okay, like this island has my heart and soul. It just does. And, you know, you grow up and I left it and I went back for summers, and it was just like, I loved being there for the summers, and it just always calls to me. And it's just beautiful.
When you started your own family, what did you believe in regards to influencing your kids through your own kind of childhood and Puerto Rican experience? Was there anything, or was it like, you know, because some people, they move to America and they're like, they forget everything, they want to assimilate, right? You hear that.
Oh yeah.
So was that a thing? I know you came over here early, but once you started to have kids of your own, did you ever think like, oh, I really want to be feeding my kids coffee, or, you know, like...
okay, so it's you introduce what you know, right? So it's muscle memory. It's not like you go in there doing it like, ugh. I walked into motherhood knowing that I was going to do it different. I knew that I was. I knew that I was going to be a different type of mom. We were going to have a different kind of family structure. I had all of these amazing intentions. And then you have the kids. And then they are their own humans who will not be controlled. Right? But then as the Latina mom, I'm like, where's my chancla? Because I'll beat the shit out of you with this chancla right here.
What's a chancla?
A chancla is a flip-flop. You know, like, right? And so it's like, you know, so I didn't, a lot of, there's fear with a Latina mom or a Latino dad. Like, when, espera que papi venga, wait till your dad gets home. Like, when they do that, you're in fucking trouble. I had a paddle with holes in it waiting for me when my dad got mad. Like, not kidding. So I knew that I was going to be a different kind of parent. So by not being that kind of parent, I fucked it up in other ways. Like, but
so you didn't want to hit your kids.
I didn't, but I did, and I felt horrible every time. You know, and one time I smacked Ariel, and I was like, this is going to hurt you. Okay? It's going to hurt me more than you. And then I'm going to tell you why I'm hitting you, because I was so mad. But I had to tell her why I was hitting her.
Why was it?
She had, I don't remember.
Oh.
She had done something in the tub that I told her not to do. And it was either because it was about her safety. I can't remember what it was, but it was about safety. I was like, you cannot do that. Don't do it. And she did it anyway. And I'm like, I need you to understand. And, you know, when a leg is wet and you smack it, it stings. And I wanted her to understand that. I want you to remember, it stings if I hit you when you're a little wet. Don't do it again.
Was she like 3 or 4 years old? Or?
Oh, she was 4.
Yeah, okay. That's where I'm at now.
I remember those. I remember every single one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I get it. Not planning on hitting B. No judgment if you do.
No.
I know some people still do, but I do think that there is a new, like you said, there's a new, I'm going to do parenting different than what I was raised, right? And I don't think my parents really hit me. They might have spanked me a few times.
That's
but
what I'm saying. Like,
crazy,
I did not, I just couldn't, couldn't do it. Like,
because I feel like sometimes when you hit your kid, I say this, you know, I never have, but I can understand why you do it. But part of me thinks when you're hitting your kid, you're at a point where you don't know what to do, or you have lost control of your emotions.
Correct.
So that is what I am.
But then what are you teaching them? Right? And it's like,
there has to be consequence.
Right. So it's like,
so it is tough. It's like, so then how do you discipline your kids without hitting them? Right. And that's the challenge. But that's something that we're really, you know, committed to. 'Cause
I mean, there's another memory. So it was, I was at home. I spent 3 years at home with the boys because, you know, Adrian was special needs and we were doing therapies and all that. John was working 1,700 jobs trying to keep us afloat. And I was just over it. I was like losing my freaking mind. They're screaming, they're yelling, they're na. And I just screamed. I screamed and I just screamed and I screamed, and they're looking at me and they're screaming harder, and we're all screaming and we're looking at each other and we're all screaming. And then all of a sudden I just sat and I stopped, and they sat and they stopped. And I said, "Are we okay now?" "Yeah." "Okay. Do we like Scary Mommy?" "No." "Okay, so let's not do Scary Mommy anymore, okay?" "Okay." "Let's have lunch?" "Okay." And we went and had lunch. But it's like we just had to. It had to happen. Didn't touch them because I wanted to just wring their necks. So I decided, you're going to cry, I'm going to cry. And we all cried together.
there's going to be disconnections with your kids, but then you just reconnect when you can, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
If you need time and space, that's fine, but
Correct.
go back and reconnect.
Go back.
Because you don't want that
No.
relationship to keep shattering.
No.
And I think
No. I mean, but
that
that's
happens,
also,
right?
For me, in all of these memories and all of these things with my kids, is like, I learned something from all of those moments. And I'm hoping that they did too. Because as far as I can see, right now, my relationship with my children is spectacular. And if I'm lying to myself about that, then find somebody tell me. Because we have a great relationship that has everything to do with the fact that I wanted to be as real with them all the time. I mean, my life has been covered in secrets, and my growing up was just like marred with so many things. I didn't want that for our relationship, and this is about doing it different. And as I grow and as I see them and as I connect with them, I see who they are and how I want to be in their lives. Because I don't have a great relationship with some people in my family, and that is by design. It's like, look, I respect you on certain levels. We are never going to be close. Fine. I have no problem being in the same room as you. It's just that you and I are not going to be friends. And I'm okay with that. We're adults here. And that's because I want my life to be different. There's no toxic bullshit drama. Don't bring it. Don't bring it into my family. We're building something different. And so we've all amongst us have made this decision that between ourselves, we're going to be this transparent family, because we're that way. From my brother and my sister-in-law to my kids to my in-laws, or even my father and his wife, my friend Christina. We're very open, very transparent. You hurt my feelings, let's talk about it. Because this whole fucking bullshit of talking behind each other's backs and the drama of family, that typical, I don't want it. My life has been enough of a telenovela. I'm over it. So if I have a way of writing this story, it's going to be this way. Yeah.
You mentioned you didn't want lies involved in your family. So what kind of lies did you grow up with?
I mean, for example, I have a sister that's 6 months younger than I am. And my relationship between my grandfather and my grandmother, the relationship between myself and my aunt on my father's side. It's all of these interpersonal connections that you have so much in common with because of where we came from, and it's not being able to have these relationships with people you really, really love because they're too toxic.
It sounds like you had to be careful about what you said around people. Is that
always? Oh my God, always. I mean, also I have, I have an autistic son. I have a gay son, and I have a daughter that has 3 children out of wedlock. I'm you see what I'm saying? It's but our life is great. They're wonderful in their own way, and we support each other through it, because that's what we do. Yeah.
Do you remember, kind of as your family's growing up, and you're growing with them, like you said, how did you foster that environment where, we want to be respectful. You want to teach people about respect, and maybe you shouldn't say X, Y, Z around X, Y. How did you foster that environment to have a family that's really open with each other? It didn't just happen. Life kind of had to implode first. You kind of have to get to that moment. Because you're not going to know what it's like to almost lose everything until you almost lose everything and you get a different perspective. If you do not learn the lesson from from your life imploding, then what are you doing? And so that's where I'm talking about, being truthful. Because I was hiding shit. Didn't work.
You think you're like, but this is not going to hurt anybody. This is fine. But it's bad. And so I had to claim responsibility to my children for my role in fucking it up. And that's where, hey, we've talked over and over and over again. Hey, I recognize that when this happened between us, I recognize that this is how it made you feel. And I'm sorry, that was not my intent. And it's just owning up to your shit.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment, or was it kind of just like a gradual, day after day, interaction after interaction, where you kind of built this sense of trust and openness? Or was there like one moment when you're like, all right, I got to change things drastically?
No, I mean, yeah, it was absolutely, hey, like this is a me problem, and I'm really sorry. And I'm going to, like, from here on out, like I see it now. I'm crystal clear as to what happened, how it happened. I get it. I claim absolute all of my responsibility for what my role in it. And I ask for your forgiveness, and I want to move forward. Okay, fine. Because it's like, you have to take ownership. How are they going to trust you?
What are you taking ownership of?
Like,
I know it's probably personal.
It is personal, but it's basically, it's like I basically, for my own selfish reasons, I gave myself something that I shouldn't have given myself without the permission of everyone involved.
Okay.
In the forms of a credit card. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's pause for a second. Mm-hmm. So you
because everyone has that moment in all of their lives in some form or fashion. It's maybe in the form of a credit card. It might be in the form of infidelity. It might be. So it's insert whatever it is you lied about it, and it blew up in your fucking face.
That's what it is.
That is what it is. It is about lying.
Yeah.
Boldface. Because you think you're doing them a service by, or because you're so afraid of what their reaction is going to be, knowing that this might be such a fucking horrible scenario that they might not forgive you, that you're like, but that's okay. They don't need to know that.
So are we referring, it sounds like we might be referring to your husband?
Oh, yeah. I
or your kids in this situation where you were like.
Oh, well, no. It was primarily to my husband, but my kids lived there. So they were also present with the tension, the fighting, the all of it, the mail, you know what I mean? Like, they were there. They witnessed, they experienced, and they lived it. So therefore, I owed them an apology because they were there. They didn't ask for it, and I put that on them. And that was my fault. Mm-hmm. So you asked for permission.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to do is to... Some it's more difficult for some than others. Yeah. But keeping the drama between you and your partner away from your kids is like, we are always checking ourselves. Like,
have to.
We'll look over and she's staring right at us and we're like, oh. Right. Let's talk about this later. Also we're probably going to be more calm later. So right now,
you have to give yourselves the moment and the grace. And I have done that. And it, we've gotten in a little trouble because that hasn't been respected always. But I'm just like, okay, I need a moment. I accept your apology. I get it. I accept your apology. But I don't just, okay, I'm good. No, I need time to decompress, to get my feelings in check, because that was at a moment where it was just like from 0 to fucking 1,700,000 degrees. It was hot, right? You don't just, so I was like, I need the space. And then, 5 seconds later, it's like, what? Hello? What? I asked for the space. I would respect you if you said the same thing. So and that's just what happens. It happens. It's life. It's relationship.
That's what I've learned. One of the things I've learned with my daughter, when she has these outbursts or these, she's feeling feelings, right? It's a part of being a human. Yeah, she's feeling it. And what's been really cool is I will take and this is not to belittle my wife, but I will literally take the same kind of mentality sometimes when I'm talking to her and I'm repeating back what she's saying, and then she's opening up and she's calming down and she's blah, blah, blah. And I'm not giving my kid advice necessarily right away.
No.
I'm letting them talk to me. And I feel like I do the same thing with my wife. And it's really taught me to do that. Yes. Don't give advice.
No.
Listen, let her be whatever it is, and just be calm.
Yep.
And then the tricky part is like, okay, well, you keep doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah, so
like stop doing X, Y, Z. So I mean, it's, but that's just relationships. But it has been cool learning from my daughter and kind of understanding my wife more because of my 4-year-old. How crazy is that? I mean, to me, it's like, pfft. So let me ask you, what have you learned from your kids? Like, what have they taught you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I guess you have 3 different.
Completely. Well, having all 3 of them, if I knew that they would have turned out so well. I mean, and they're still struggling, but for me, they're doing fabulous. I wouldn't have worried as much. I would have trusted the process a little bit further. I would have given myself a little bit instead of just constantly tearing myself apart for being such a fucking horrible mother. God damn, I'm such a terrible mom. You question and you second guess all day, every day. Did I make the right decision? Did what I say, did I hurt their feelings? Am I doing irreversible damage? Like, I have found so much, I've done so much work on just getting rid of all of the generational trauma that comes with being a human being and being a parent and being a grandparent and being a wife and just being me. It's insane. So if you take all of the generational trauma that everyone has given you all this time and you continue to project that on your children are going to continue to project that. So this is like, no, we can't do this anymore. I know what it felt to be treated like that. We're going to do this different because I'm not going to take your pain over there. You abused me in this manner because you couldn't deal with the pain from the abuse that you got. So you gave it and you gave it and you gave it and you gave it. I'm not going to fucking give it. I'm going to give something different. I'm going to give unconditional love. Like, I love my kids so much. I love my family. Like, this is my chosen family. And why would I disrespect it? And that's the thing. I have such respect for my family. Massive.
What do you think people struggle with most in doing that? Because that all sounds great, and it sounds like everyone should be doing that.
Ego. Everybody lets ego get in the way of it. It's ego. Everybody's like, I don't want to see it this way because I don't want to see it this way. I don't want to see it this way because I feel this way. Or I like to feel this way, so I'm just going to continue to feel this way because if I don't feel this way, then who am I? And that's ego. And I know I'm being incredibly vague, but just put it into whatever perspective you want. Like,
so if I walk into my daughter's room and she's yelling and screaming, and I'm like, what are you screaming at? Or I go in there and I start yelling at her.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that the question is she screaming at you or is she screaming because something's wrong? So let's start with, there's screaming going on. You're walking into that room. Why is she screaming? She's screaming because she's mad at you or something else. So you have to assess the situation first by saying, are you okay? And if then they turn on you, then you yell back. But you have to assess first, because it might be she just stepped on a fucking tack.
Right. But that's some of what's happening is she's mad about something.
Yep.
And then she's just yelling at every direction. So if I come in there, the way I'm looking at it, and we'll see how it turns out, ego says, I'm the parent, don't disrespect me.
Correct.
Right? She's 4 years old.
She's 4.
She's emotional.
Oh my God.
I'm not scared of her emotions.
No.
I'm gonna sit there with her and just be like, and it's kind of funny. What has worked for me, and I got this advice from a terrorist negotiator.
Stop it. I love this.
This was a guy that talked to, situations where there's a hostage and the terrorist is on the phone with somebody in the FBI or whatever. This is the guy. He had a master class.
Yeah.
And he said, the best way to talk to a terrorist is to mirror what they say. Mm-hmm. And you can do this in a lot of relationships. If whatever is going on, let's say I spilled some juice on a toy. Mm-hmm. You spilled some juice on a toy. You just inflection, and you do this, and you do it a couple times, and every time it'll then she just talks about her feelings, and then once she's calm, then I'll say, hey, B, I know you were frustrated, but you don't yell at me. We don't yell at each other in this house.
We don't disrespect each other.
I'm gonna say, hey, but to me it seems like a losing battle if you're disciplining your kid while they're in their middle of their.
It's not gonna work.
Right.
It's not gonna work. I mean, it's just not gonna work. I learned that a lot with Adrian. Adrian with his autism, it was just there was when he had a break, there was you had to come down to his level and you had to be we need to take a deep breath. I mean, it was just you couldn't, even going and putting him on the swing, in 10 minutes, we're going to get off the swing. In 5 minutes, we're going to get off the swing. In 1 minute, we're going to get off the swing. Or on Friday, we're going to go from the blue shoes to the brown shoes. On 2 days, we're going to go from the brown shoes to the blue shoes. And it had to be a countdown. You have to prep and you have to walk them through it. It's that simple. Because how can they trust you with their feelings if you do not help walk them through theirs?
Exactly.
You just can't.
Yeah. There's different ways to do it, and different things work for different kids. So,
yeah.
I think that's what's been really great for me personally, doing all these podcasts and talking to all these people. I hope other people like it too, just taking a little bit of this, taking a little bit of that, in regards to maybe their own parenting or their own psyche,
but
right?
I think the thing is that, look, parenting, it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from, what culture you're in. Parenting is parenting is parenting is parenting. And kids are always going to be kids, and they're always going to do and say shit that just messes with you. They're going to wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning with throw up, vomit, and just shit everywhere. And that's just that. Everyone in every world goes through that. Period. Parenting does not change anywhere. You're still going to be ready to feed them to the wolves.
I mean, you said parenting doesn't change, but it does. Because the world we're in and what we're trying to...
Well, okay. All right. You have a point. Okay, you do have a point. Yes. But I'm talking about the innate parenthood, protect, feed, clothe, shelter. And they're always going to be running away when the thunderstorm is coming. You need to bring them back into safety is, I guess, what I'm going for. And that could be, with social media and all of it. All of it.
Let's go into the easy stuff of or the fun stuff of being a grandparent. Mm-hmm. We talked all about being a parent and how that's difficult and challenging, and but what's it like seeing your kids have kids?
It's just awesome. It's just awesome. I mean, there's so many ways to look at it.
You know how you said, if I wish I didn't worry so much because my kids turned out great. I think they're great. Yeah. They are they're functioning adults doing their own thing. And that's all you really want as a parent. You're just I want my kid just to be hopefully happy.
I want my kids to be their authentic selves. I want my kids to be their authentic selves and build the life that they see for themselves. I want to be there as a support structure, not to tell them what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. I don't want that responsibility of no. I want to have a relationship with my kids. I want to have a relationship with my grandkids. And the best way for me to do that is to be support. I am here as support, watching it happening. It's like orchestrating it in a sort of roundabout way, seeing the fruits of labor. Because I remember when my child was born, and now I remember every single one of the times that her children were born. And to watch it from like this bird's eye view, man, dude, there's nothing better in the world. There just isn't. It makes it all worth it. And I know that I'm going to live to see my grandkids have kids. Like, I know it and I see it. And it makes me so fucking thrilled because I'm giving them something that I didn't have. I'm giving them everything that I wished for when I sat on a beach in Puerto Rico as a little girl, which was just nothing but all of this abundance and family and love. That's what I've always wanted, a family that loves unconditionally. That's been my thing while I build my millions.
Oh, man.
You know?
So do you find yourself taking a step back from, I mean, not a step back, but like, I guess my question is like, what's your role as a grandparent? How do you see yourself as a grandma? Like in your grandkids' lives, you know, what are you just the grandma that just hands out cookies all the time?
Nope.
I mean, what's...
Mm-mm. No, what I am is I am an extension of their mother when she is not around. That is what I am. What I do is I represent my daughter. What she feels for her kids, I feel for her kids. I mean, when she says, I really don't want them to eat this, I respect. Yes, grandma does give cookies, and grandma loves taking them to what is it, Crazy Masons for the shakes. But and so yes, my daughter allows me to spoil them rotten, and she knows it. But I also respect how she raises her kids, and so that's all. Like I said, I'm grandma, but I'm here as support. And I'm here for love. Hugs and kisses. And then there's nothing better. It's like to see your grandkids go, Grandma! Like, come on. I love it.
You can't beat it.
Cannot beat it. And they're so fucking cute. The things they say, the things they do. And it's just to remind you so much of your own kids. Like Ellie is Ariel, man. Like she just looked exactly like Ariel. And it just took me back. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see that with my parents and
Yeah.
my wife's parents, like just seeing them light up around Regita is like, it's really cool because it's almost like you go back 30 years ago or whatever and you're like, it almost something snaps and they just have this like twinkle in their eye and I'm just like, whoa.
I know, but at the same time, it's like just grow so much like just envelop yourself in the knowledge that your parents fucking love you. To look at your child and for them to look at her so like the twinkle, it's like, all right, that's cool. That's cool because you never have to doubt your parents' love for you. Never. You never, ever, ever, ever.
Most people don't. I don't understand the people that
I cannot understand not loving your grandkids and not want to be 100% a part of their lives. I can't see it. It makes me batty. I judge it a little bit. I really do.
Oh yeah, I judge dads that aren't like that don't want to go to their kids' soccer games and stuff like that. I'm like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing that's more important than that?
Right, like if my kids played sports, we would have done it. But my kids were not. They just weren't. They weren't those kids. So, but their father was, his sport is fighting, MMA, Shary.
Big John?
Big John. Oh, yeah, he likes to fight.
I didn't know that.
I know. He seems like such a gentle giant, right?
Till you cross him.
Till you cross him and watch out. I mean, his hands will do some damage.
I guess you've seen this firsthand.
Oh, no, we have. Yeah, I have safety first.
Yeah. Well, Is there anything else we should?
I don't know. Well, what else do you want to know about Puerto Rico, like itself? Like,
you mentioned the machismo culture of Puerto Rican moms or Latino moms, however you want to put it. Can you just talk about that for a little bit?
Okay, so let's go with the machismo. The machismo again with the girls. The fathers are like pistol, gun, like. The daughters are very, very protected. You know, they have to be virginal. Like, it is very important. Church, very important. Da, 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 da. With the moms, it's like the baby boy is the baby boy. He doesn't learn to do his own laundry or to cook his own meals. Like, mommy does everything, and that's in the Latino culture. Like, mommies baby their boys. Mama's boys is a real thing. But I know that also happens in the Italian culture, right? It's like it happens in almost any culture. It'll happen. But no, Latinas really, really like their mama's boys. Yep, love a mama. So a lot of women will say, you love a man based on how he treats his mama. and that's because we spoil them.
So how did you raise your sons?
I spoil them. But I also don't, like, I set boundaries. Like, they know that they can depend on me for anything. But they know that they can't just come to me all the time and that I'm going to, no. I've let them struggle. I've let them eat the struggle soup. But the way that I say it to them is, Mommy is never going to let you completely fall. Never. I will get you there, but I won't let you fall. You need to struggle. You need to know what it's like to bring yourself back up. But I will not let you completely falter. And they know that. They know that if it gets to the point where it's just like really fucked up, all right, you can move in for 20 days. Like, that's it. I give you 20 days. It's that kind of thing. But no, hey, Mom, so I don't get paid till Friday. Can I borrow $40? Of course. Like, I never not, like, yes, you can have $40. I don't care. Hey, Mom, can I have 1,000? No.
And it depends on how often. If they're asking $40 every week, you'd be like, hey, what's going on here?
Right, and that's the thing. They're not. They're not.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's you gauge. But it's also knowing your audience. It's knowing who your kids are, what's going on in their lives, and when you are aware of where their situations, not that you're in their shit, it's just that you know what's going on in their lives. I know what's going on in my daughter's life. I know what's going on in both my sons' lives. I know that Adrian is now doing what he's doing for a living. You see stuff like that. So, hey, in the interim of like switching from this job to this job, can I have for $50? Yes. Like, it's situational. That's how I help them. It's situational help.
Yeah.
I'm not saving them from anything. I'm just support.
And so how old is your youngest now?
23. Adrian is 23 now.
Wow.
It's really weird. Really weird. Sometimes.
Just having 3 adults.
3 grown-ass adults. Like, I still look at Adrian and I still see that baby newborn face. Like, I really, really do. His little blank stare. I see them all. You know, Johnny Russ looked like Jiminy Cricket. I swear. Or at least it did to me. So, yeah.
So how is that relationship changing?
My relationship?
I mean, it's every day with your kids. Like, are you more like you are a beacon of support, I guess you could say, but like you're also becoming, I would imagine, there's more of a friendship role.
Absolutely. I'm not raising them anymore. So our relationship has changed. It automatically has changed. Can't tell them what to do. I cannot mother them anymore. So now it's like, okay, so I'm still your mother, of course. That's that moniker and that umbrella will always be there. That is always going to be there. But it's what I do. There's more to it. Our relationship is deeper than that. And so how do we build it with all of these different facets of who we are now? And it's finding that common thread, how do we continue to grow together without hindering each other's growth in all of this? Because, yeah, I mean, There was a time that Johnny Russ was, into, the special effects with me. And now I don't know. He might come back to that. He might not. Right now he's doing teaching, like his dad. So it's like, so you find all of these commonalities in your relationships that you always want to have a tether, but it's not a tether that controls them. But I always want to have a tether.
Let me ask you one more question, and I think we can probably wrap this up. But I'm curious. I mean, first off, I've always loved our conversations, and I've always kind of looked up to you in regards to being a parent, because you've always been very confident, and you've always seemed very reasonable. And like you said, you want a relationship with your kids. It's like the most important thing, right?
That's it.
So can you tell me about a moment, maybe in the teenage years, or like, because the teenage years to me terrify me. Do you know?
Rightfully so.
Right. Even, even a couple years ago, I think you had that altercation. So can you tell me about maybe a story where, your kids are teenagers, and like, what's your role in the teenage realm of being a parent? Like, what has worked for you? Like, what were you most confident in? Like, this happened, I need to act this way.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
That's a hard question to answer, because then you got to think about like all the moments, probably a lot of them, but like having two boys in the same house, like because sometimes it's like you want your kids, I would imagine, to work things out.
Yep.
So when do you decide to step in?
I'll go with two things, just in case to feel like I'll cover all angles. When the boys were going into high school, I'm driving them to high school, very first day, and I said, listen, I just want you guys to know, I love you. I love you so freaking much. But you guys are about to go into high school, and these are teenage years. Mommy doesn't do very well with teenagers, so I'm going to do my very best. Just know that I love you no matter what happens in the next couple of years. I mean, that's like, because we're gonna freaking butt heads. And we did. We absolutely did. It was brutal. It was really brutal. Depression and, feeling left out in school and feelings and, bullying. I mean, there was just so much. So much. So teenagers are hard. And just breathe. Breathe and have faith that everything is going to fall into place. As long as you just remember, I love them more than anything in the world. Nothing that I do or say is out of malice. This too shall pass. Like, start mantra in the shit out of your life. Mantra after mantra after mantra. During teenage years.
Whatever you say and whatever you do, just remind yourself that you're doing the best you can.
Mm-hmm. Compassion for yourself and them. Grace. Lots of grace. And then love. Love. Just let them always know you love them. My God, that's the biggest one. Because that's the biggest one. It's like they fuck something up and it's like, well, mom and dad, she doesn't really love me anymore. Or she's not going to love me. This is too hard. This is too much. This is going to disappoint her so much. It's the same thing. It's a vicious cycle.
So back to what you said at the beginning. What was it? Form, storm, norm?
Forming, storming, norming. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because every year, you're forming something new. Every year is different. Every year is so different. Like we were talking about that earlier. She's 4. What? She's 4. And it's blowing your mind already. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My baby is 32. She'll be 33.
Wow.
I know. But again, oh God, I wouldn't trade it. She's giving me the biggest gifts. And then Adrian wants to be a father, so he's just like, yes. Johnny Russ, he's like, I'm definitely going to be a father. And yes, he is. I said, I don't care how that baby comes. But, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Shary, kudos to you.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, I mean, that must make you feel good. Like, oh, my kids had a good enough childhood where they want to do this themselves and build their own families.
Absolutely. I mean, Ariel was the one. She's just like, I don't ever want to have kids. Like, growing up in our house was not easy. It wasn't easy. So when she's just like, I don't want to have kids, like, I believed her. Like, she's the one I believed. Now she has 3.
My evil plan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I just love it. And she makes me proud. She makes me proud. She just makes me so proud.
So proud.
So proud.
Yeah. Well, I think your family is very lucky to have you.
Thank you.
And I think I'm lucky to have you as a friend.
Thank you.
How mushy do we want to get here?
Oh, no, very mushy. But I love you, poly, accent free.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the tea and my beautiful little unicorn mug.
Yeah. Well, I hope I see you on set soon. And,
I know, right?
Yeah. I can't wait to hear more about your grandkids down the road and all that. So
it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Awesome.
Shit's going to happen.
Cool. Well, thanks, Shary.
Thanks, Paul.